venture capital group on the campus. And what we do is we connect student startups with sources of funding. So basically, we help venture capitalists find the next Facebook, and we help the people building the next Facebook find venture capitalists. So we try to be the bridge between those two groups.
And so which startups have you worked with on campus?
Yeah, some of the ones that people might know about, they might have heard about Fronters, which obviously if you're trying to write a paper and you just need to print it out for free, you'll see them. Fitness Cube, which raised the largest Kickstarter in Chicago, and last year we've worked with them, among some other ones.
Are there any like lesser known startups that you've worked with, or ones that you're just starting out?
Yeah, we're working with some pretty interesting ones. So one of them is a men's shirt company. So what they do is they print, they're called Topology. So if you guys want to look at weartopology.com, and they do printed men's shirts, and they're trying to look for us, and we're helping them with their marketing strategy and trying to direct a lookbook actually this spring. So we really try to help out across the spectrum.
So what would you say is the dynamic with working with these startups? Is it a challenge to coordinate certain things, or do you have to manage all the personalities? Who do you go to in the startup?
Yeah, so a lot of the times, I guess when we work with startups, a lot of it is very based on a personal relationship. So we really try to do what's best for the founders. Obviously, these if you're a student and you're a founder, being a student is hard enough at the University of Chicago, and being a founder is one of the hardest jobs you can have in general. So they're very time constrained. So it's very important when you're working with a student entrepreneur like we do to try and provide them value very quickly. So they're interested in not talking for 45 minutes, they're maybe 15 minutes, and seeing what you can do to help them. And once you can prove they have value to you, they're a little bit more ready to work with you, but sometimes it can be hard to get into the schedule of these really busy people on our campus.
And then going off of that, what is the dynamic with Midway Ventures and the rest of U Chicago, especially the entrepreneurship scene?
Yeah, for sure. So we like to try and be very looped into what's going on campus in the entrepreneurship community. So we help out with EDGE, which is the major entrepreneurship entrepreneurship group here, and run what's called their venture track. So every year we try to run a venture capital or education series, so that if students are interested in understanding how the venture process works, they can come to a series of, I think we ran 4 lecture series this past year of helping them go through, what does it really mean when a startup is getting outside fundraising? What are the different types of fundraising? How does the math there work? It's some stuff you don't learn in classes, but it's really interesting, and because it's very applicable to what you see out there in the news. So yeah, we'll try to help out.
EDGE has a very good presence on campus, and what would you recommend to some people who are looking to go to entrepreneurship? How could they get in touch with you?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say if they're interested in entrepreneurship in general, definitely come to some of the EDGE events. EDGE runs really fantastic speakers. We've had Sam Yegan, the founder of OkCupid, and now a runner of his own venture capital firm. We've had a bunch of really fantastic people like Peter Thiel, that's been obviously, he's well known for PayPal, and also his the Thiel Fellows, which encourages people to just drop out of college for 2 years. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that if you're interested in entrepreneurship, but do that, find out what's going on, get involved, really. I think that the best way to learn is to start and do. So, there's always companies on either here or at Booth or just downtown that are interested in having students and having the students' opinions. So feel free, as much as you can give to it, that you'll really get out a lot. And to get in contact with Midway, we have a website, midwayvc.com, I think it is. But either way, you can find us pretty easily if you just go to the EDGE events. There's always people from Midway there, and we're always happy to talk.
And so what do you look for in a startup? What is the selection process? Do you have 5 candidates? Do you want to take one?
Yeah, it's a lot more, it's not like that selective. We love to work with really anyone. So what we're interested to do is trying to help the entrepreneurship community here on campus and students as much as possible. That's really our mission. So the best way we can do that is doing what's best for each of the companies. So whereas if we get 5 companies, they're going to be definitely different, and they're not going to want the same things. So we try to give them what they want first. And then secondly, the help that we can do, which a lot of the help Midway provides, is introductions to our venture partners, which include Light Bank, Hyde Park Angels, Hyde Park Venture Partners, all these kind of groups around Chicago and beyond, they're not looking for the same thing either, right? So a small group like Hyde Park Angels is not going to be is not going to be the best candidate if the student is looking to raise $5 million right out of school. So we definitely try to make sure that we're doing the best we can to them, but in that sense, we do try to work with whoever is interested to help, and we try to value whatever we can.
So in the funding process, are you sort of like an intermediary, or you, like, Midway Ventures doesn't have X amount of money, you have to go and like, seek help from other organizations around Hyde Park?
Yeah, to be clear, so we really just help with the introduction process. We don't get a carry or an upside or whatever like that. Really what we're interested in doing is just adding value to the system, and I think that, so we'll work with a student startup. We've made introductions. We have partnerships beyond just Chicago and Hyde Park. We have some firms that we work with, like Foundation Capital on the West Coast, which we've made some really interesting introductions for a manager of social media pages is one of the companies we were working with previously, and just kind of helping them to whatever markets there is, because once you get into the venture world, there's a lot of geographic specificity about whether or not your company is going to be well founded in a different area. So if you're interested in trying to find really high-tech people, then maybe Miami is not the best place to go. Maybe San Francisco is better, but there's still a lot of ranges there. So we try to help out of whatever would be the best fit for the company, if that makes sense.
So shifting a bit, like, what is your role in Midway Ventures?
For sure, yeah. So I am, deal lead there. Mainly I help maintain relationships with our venture partners, as well as start new relationships with entrepreneurs and try to manage the work that we do for them, in like a really good way. So within our organization, we have deal leads like myself, as well as associates that kind of work under us and try to actually do the work of the organization, which is a lot of understanding the market, providing due diligence reports for our venture partners, and also providing value to the companies that we work with.
And so have you always been interested in entrepreneurship? Like, when did you start to get involved in this area?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually grew up with a family of entrepreneurs. My parents, they started a company actually when I was in high school that does one of the most boring things I can think of, sourcing. So that's when a company spends a lot of money, they basically spend it pretty poorly, so they just match up your invoice, which is what you paid. So the specifics aren't really that important, but I've always been interested in it. So this past summer I worked at a bunch of startups out in the Boston area where I'm from, including one that, across the range from one that held out boutique consulting firms, find variable staffing, to a college entry start social venture for people of underprivileged backgrounds trying to apply to colleges and understand that equation of how that actually works, to like an Internet of Things connected home consumable company. So I've been really interested throughout it, and I think the venture capital side of the industry, I think a lot of people find it's a great way to see a lot of company ideas and have a really wide scope of the industry, which is obviously why I'm really interested in Midway, and I think a lot of people in Midway get excited for that same reason.
Okay. So since you're so interested in entrepreneurship, like, do you have a specific company or startup that you're following right now on campus, and then like in the broader scheme, just in general? Yeah,
for sure. I think one of the coolest companies I've seen is actually one on here on campus. It's founded by a first-year Jason Lee. So Jason, actually, when he was in high school, he was on Shark Tank. This show with Mark Cuban and all the rest of them kind of vet your idea. He got funded by Mark Cuban in high school, so he's a really great guy, killer entrepreneur. And he started this company called UProsby, which basically helps prospective college students to connect with people on campus to better their experience, right? So they can have like a video chat, they can talk with them on message boards, they can come and visit for a lunch, and it's a really great platform to help people make the right decisions about where their college is, because it's a really important decision. I think that a lot of us experience the problems of that, and I think what's really interesting for them is that rather than waiting to, till they're really big, I think, and give back a lot of money, like, it's been a traditional like system of, give later and get now. What they're doing from the really get-go is trying to give back. So they have free programs for low-income students to help them apply to college, to help them understand what it's like as a first-generation college student. And it's really good to see companies that are interested in providing value in a really like area that they understand, as well as an area where they can do a lot of social good. So I think if anyone's interested in entrepreneurship, Jason and UProsby are something that they're definitely going to read about in the coming years. They're actually working this summer in San Francisco just together in a house there, so they're very serious about it, and it's going to be exciting to see what they come up with.
And is there like another company in general, like outside of Chicago, that you're following?
Yeah, outside of Chicago, man, I'm a little biased on this one. I think a really great company, if people are interested in, this is a college-founded company. I actually worked with them for a little bit. It's called Packback Books, and what they do is rent digital textbooks by the day. So it's really a red box model for textbooks, and they're really great guys. They're helping the Midwest scene really take off. They're kind of one of those people that you think of as connectors. And I think that they're the sort of company, they came right out of college to start this company, is a symbol of what people can do. And I think that as they keep growing, they just raised their Series A round, or just finishing Series A. I think they're going to do really great things.
So what do you think is next for startup space for
Yeah, I think a lot of what's going to happen. Yeah, I think in the next 5 years on campus, more students. I think people are still slow to the punch here at Chicago. I think a lot of people still are, kind of hear it doesn't have to be non-practice, right? That's what we like to say. But I think more people are, no matter where you go, getting into the startup scene. So I think in the next 5 years, you're going to really impact. I think case in point is a company called Basic Ballot. They're started here on campus. There's a bunch of second years, I believe, behind this, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to make voting easier. Most people go to the voting box, and maybe they'll have an opinion about the president or their congressman, but they really won't understand their aldermen, their city council. They won't understand the bills that are going there. And what Basic Ballot allows them to do is to understand what they should be voting for based off of questions that they answer, and it's able to work over time. So it's basically helping you to vote in a better way that you want to vote for, rather than just making a random choice at the ballot box. And I think that sort of social venture, in combination with what we just talked about, UProsby, those are the sort of companies that I think are really going to be exciting, and I think you're going to see a lot of them coming out of Chicago.
Okay. Great, thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes, thanks.